So we've seen a big transition over the last few years in all employee benefits. We're imposing more and more responsibility on the employees, and that's a big transition and challenge for most employers and certainly their employees. Defined contribution plans are the primary responsibility of the employee for ensuring their retirement benefits.
Important plan design tools would include things like auto features. So auto enrollment is critical because you need participation in the plan to put people on a pathway towards achieving their retirement objectives. When you combine that with auto escalation, they may not start at the right contribution rate in the beginning, but by auto escalating them each year, you continue to help them towards their goal.
Without a doubt, the most impactful tools that we have for helping employees accumulate sufficient assets for retirement has got to be auto features. Auto enrollment, auto escalation, auto default, all of these have been terrifically effective at getting employees to do the right thing. And for years we have been trying to get employees to do the right thing through other means, such as print and web communication, with not nearly the impact that auto features have done. We've improved our overall participation rate from 75% back in 2002 to over 90% today. So that's been a home run for us. Auto escalation is something we started, I believe, back in 2005. And so there, it's a little bit later, but it's having also a very positive effect. And auto defaulting people into a well-diversified portfolio has done a lot to get people on the right track of diversification from day one.
So employers looking at auto features and helping people need to consider a couple of things. First of all, how much do I default the person? And now, what kind of default is it going to be? Should it be pre-tax or should it be Roth? We have seen some very large employers actually now default their employees into Roth. We haven't seen any evidence about the fact that no matter what the default is, people don't opt out.
So setting a deferral rate for auto enrollment and auto escalation, those are real hot buttons. So we know that plans that don't have auto enrollment generally have enrollment numbers that are about 50% of their population. So we have chosen to auto enroll at 5%, which is where our match is. We allow folks also to go in and auto escalate on their own. We don't have an auto escalate mandatory program, but an employee can go into auto escalate and they can set that number as high as they want. So that's how we have chosen to handle those automated features. But I think that at least auto escalating to the match is critical to start building that portfolio to a size that you can actually do something with at retirement.
So in our plan, our salaried employees are auto enrolled at a 4% rate. They are then auto escalated 1% a year until they reach 8%, which is our full matching rate. And that's really the objective, is to get to our employees to that full matching rate. But we still have too many employees that are not reaching the full match rate.
I would also argue there's more work to be done. So where those thresholds have been set, most studies will tell you an individual is going to have to save 15% and some even plus of their own money through their working years to achieve a secure retirement. Well, the current standards are well below that, so we would actually advocate for higher initial automatic enrollment and increasing up to and through 15%, understanding that there are clearly considerations from a cost and budget perspective to organizations.
And then for those who haven't been auto-enrolled in the past, some companies, and we'd certainly recommend this, re-enroll every single year, or at a minimum, auto increase every single year, because if you start at a low rate and get them up over time, you've still benefited them, and it hasn't cost the employer as much in match.
We do re-enrollment programs, and they have been very successful. I think oftentimes we are the ones that resist it the most, being concerned that our participants will object to these types of programs. We have found through practice that that's not the case. Usually we get very high acceptance rates with very little pushback. So we are fans of re-enrollments.
The demographic component of educating our employees is really important, and we have a unique feature at Brown-Forman with employee resource groups. So employee resource groups are voluntary groups that employees can join if they identify with that particular group. So for instance, we will have a YP group, which is our young professionals, or a SAGE group, which is speaks mostly to our boomer generation folks. So we will target experiences and target communications and webinars and things like that specifically to them around those kinds of concerns, and then help them see how they can move that needle. What we try to do is give them information in a couple of different ways. If they have any balance at all in the 401k plan and our savings plan, whenever they log on, they will see that balance and how that benchmarks with where they should be as far as an 80% replacement income projected to retirement. We tie that in with their pension plan so that they really do get a full picture, and that also has Social Security mixed in with it.
So from an education perspective, or the tools that are available, I think you're only going to see more roll out, and we welcome that, and we're actually very active in some of those discussions and finding new technologies as well. But we do think that it's the blending of those two, with having the right digital platform with the right individual for coaching when the person needs it most at the right time in their life. It's going to take a mix of the two.
So benchmarking is a really important piece of understanding total plan health. And in order to be able to know whether all of these efforts make any difference, we do have to slice and dice it by age groups and even by tenure, because Brown-Forman is a very long tenured corporation, but that doesn't mean that we might not have 50 and 60-year-old employees come in as brand new employees. So you can't just look at something in the box of how old they are. But we do look at all of those plan metrics to make sure that especially as we are changing record keepers and changing communication styles, that what we're doing is making an impact. So we look at that every quarter and we see what's happening with these groups, and then we really try to target where we see deficiencies.